opinion as a doctor. Can men get pregnant?
I mean,
I'll move on to...
How is that a trick question? Now, guys, I guess I don't know what's in the water today, but we're talking about woke medicine again in this segment. And a doctor was testifying before the Senate, and it was a hearing involving abortion medications and women's health and reproductive issues and these kinds of things. But it all turned into a sideshow and just got taken totally down a rabbit hole that to me sums up everything that's wrong with, like, for lack of a better word, the woke ideology that's infiltrated some corners of medicine, where you will no longer acknowledge basic facts or biology because you're so scared of offending someone. But in the process, you discredit yourself and make people lose trust in important medicine like childhood vaccines and other things they actually should trust in for the most part and do because you are, I guess, on the gender issue, have just totally lost your mind or just desperately afraid of offending activists or something. So it all started when Senator Ashley Moody of Florida asked this doctor a basic question. Listen.
Ms. Verma, can men get pregnant?
Dr. Verma,
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're
Dr.
all
Verma,
addressing
can
each
men
other
get
with-
pregnant? As a doctor, give me your opinion. As a doctor, can men get pregnant?
I mean,
I'll move on to the next one.
How is that a trick question? Can men get pregnant? And you're a doctor. Just say no. Well, biologically male people cannot get pregnant. Now, some trans men like to live and walk the world as if they're men, but they're biologically female, so they can get pregnant. That's how this works. Acknowledge reality. Do not do this. Do not act like you're so afraid of saying something problematic that you've lost touch with biology. As a doctor, as you were so keen to remind us, because the senator said miss whatever, she's like, actually, it's doctor. And that's fine if you want to do that, if you want to insist on your title. I understand you worked hard to earn it. However, if you're going to do that and then immediately pretend you don't know how basic biology works, you're only making things worse for yourselves. And this was just a brief snippet, right? Because the senator here moved on to another witness to ask questions. But Senator Josh Hawley, the Republican from Missouri, noticed that exchange and was like, hold up. We need to discuss this in a little more in depth. And he ended up asking this woman 11 times, can men get pregnant? And she simply refused to answer the question. It's an astonishing clip that's going viral. We're going to take a look.
Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question is.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
I take care of many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women.
Can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
Let me just remind you what you testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics.
Good grief.
So can men get pregnant? You're
I
a doctor, I
agree.
think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No,
my
yes/no
God.
questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people. This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized.
Asking if men can get pregnant is apparently polarizing and divisive. And yes/no questions about basic biological facts are now, what did she say? I definitely blacked out somewhere in there from just the mind numbingness of it all. What did she say? Oh, they're a political tool. Yes, no questions are a political tool. It's not hard. This isn't a tricky question. No, biological men cannot get pregnant. That simple. You can say, but trans people still exist, and I treat them with fairness and respect, and obviously. But like, this kind of thing is so, it's hard to even put into words how repulsive it is to normal people to see educated elites refuse to acknowledge basic realities that we all know are true in service of some kind of appeasement to some radical activism or fear of being offensive. And it makes people lose trust in institutions and fields like science and medicine, which do so much important good work that people do need to still trust. But then you see a clip on TV of a doctor before the Senate unwilling to say, no, biological men cannot get pregnant. And then you wonder why. Not saying it's justified, therefore, to not vaccinate your kid against measles because you saw this on TV, but it is how the mind works, and it is how people in this ongoing political development and cultural realignment and shift is operating. So stop doing it. It's okay to just acknowledge facts and reality. Oh my God, even if you're going to win you hand a Republican a talking point, well, if that talking point is true, so be it. Ay, Dios mío, it's really exhausting stuff. But I want to talk a little bit about the discourse that emerged about this. So here on Twitter, a Democrat named Armand Domaleski wrote, I don't know why it's hard to say, comma, and then in quotes, people whose biological sex is male cannot get pregnant. People whose biological sex is female can get pregnant regardless of whether their gender identity is male or female. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that because I don't believe male and female are gender identities. I'm not even sure that gender identity is like a real or coherent concept. I believe male and female refer to sex. Maybe you want to say trans man and trans woman. Okay, but sure, at least if they said that, it wouldn't sound so crazy as refusing to answer the question, can a man get pregnant? But of course, he was immediately told, Armand, how problematic that was by other progressives on Twitter. Here's one. Because the questions are nonsense attacks, not asked in good faith, and answering them is ceding ground to and benefiting Josh Hawley. To which Armin replied, the reason Josh Hawley asks these questions is because Democrats sound insane to normal people when they refuse to answer them like a normal person. There is no ceding of ground in the answer I offered. And that's so important. This guy is like, oh, well, if you give him the answer he wants, you're giving Josh Hawley a win. No, dummies. That's not how this works. It's the refusal to answer basic facts that makes you look crazy and gives the Republicans what they want. If you simply said an answer that makes sense, then it neutralizes the question and they don't get a viral clip or gotcha moment. It is so funny to see this guy justify this bizarre behavior in the name of like this idea that, oh, well, you can't cede ground and give Josh Hawley a win. You gave Josh Hawley what he wanted. He wanted you to not know what a woman is and not know what a man is. And that's what he wants. That's the clip he's looking for, is the refusal to answer. If you just calmly, correctly answered the clip, we wouldn't be talking about the clip right now because the hearing would have kept moving and he wouldn't have had his viral moment. So in their desperation to not give Republicans a win, they're literally giving Republicans exactly what they want. It's so stupid. And it's such, even if you want to stand for trans people and you don't want to turn your backs on them or anything like that, well, this kind of thing, denying reality or seeming out of touch with biological facts, is exactly why y'all have lost credibility and lost the public on supporting trans rights. So in fact, offering a sane compromise answer to basic questions like this would go a long way to restoring the reputation of Democrats and progressives on trans issues. And so maybe then the whole public won't think you're insane and throw the baby out with the bathwater. It really is. Obviously, there are bigger and more pressing things than whether some doctor testifying before the Senate will accurately state what a man is. However, it's just a microcosm of the brain rot and mind virus that continues to plague Democrats when what they need to do, and I've said this so many times, but I will say it again, is just offer Americans a semi-sane and normal alternative to the chaos and division of Trump. And don't come across like out-of-touch Looney Tunes. And they simply cannot. They simply refuse to be normal. I don't know, guys. Y'all let me know what you think of this clip. It's getting a lot of traction in right-wing media, as I knew it would the second that I saw it. If y'all really want to stop giving Republicans what they want or ceding ground, well, stop gifting them moments like this that make Democrats, and this is their hand-picked witness for the Democratic senators here, look ridiculous. That's my take, but y'all have to let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, like, yada, yada, yada.